Welcome to my channel. The Christian Association of Nigeria has released a manual which was produced by the Political and Strategy Committee of Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN. And that manual, which I'm sure if you have not yet been told about it, you'll soon be told about it in your churches if you're a Christian. That manual contain who Christians should vote for as president in 2023. It contains a concise demands of Christians for 2023 and who Christians should vote for in 2023. The action of the Christian Association of Nigeria is also another indication that 2023 presidential election is going to be one of the most highly participated election in Nigerian history. So we are going to look at what the Christian Association of Nigeria, the qualities of the president or the presidential candidate. So Christian Association of Nigeria said, before you vote, the person must meet these criteria as set by Christian Association of Nigeria. If that person does not meet it, he does not deserve to be voted for as the president of Nigeria. So you have to avoid such a person, such a candidate. Now, the Political and Strategy Committee of CAN identify this process by categorizing them into 4 options. You have to look at the candidate's character. You have to look at the candidate's competence. You have to look at the candidate's capacity. And you have to look at the candidate's policy, the policies. And if the candidate cannot meet all these requirements, then you cannot vote for the candidate. So only a candidate or candidates that meet this criteria should be voted for in the election, according to Christian Association of Nigeria. In the area of character, one of the qualities the person must meet if the Christians are to vote for that candidate, the candidate must fear God, honesty, and truthfulness, have respect for the rule of law, justice and fairness for all, respect for religions and ethnic diversity, compassion and discipline, clean and credible lifestyle, no membership of cults, no involvement in drugs and witchcraft, no fanaticism, no relationship with Boko Haram or other violent religious groups. Now, these are the characteristics required for any candidate. Before you vote for any candidate, before Christians should vote for any candidate, that candidate must meet all these requirements. So if the candidate is known to have been involved in drugs, Christians should not vote for that candidate. If a candidate is known to be linked with Boko Haram, they should not vote for such a candidate. If the candidate is known for fanaticism, they should not vote for such a person. Such a person must also not belong to any secret cult. So it means that before the Christians will vote, they will make sure that the person is not related in any form with Boko Haram. It has no involvement with drugs. So it's not somebody who deals on cocaine or associated with cocaine, heroin, or any form of hard drug. No involvement whatsoever. Any candidate who's involved with something like that, Christian Association of Nigeria say Christians should not vote for such a candidate. He has been disqualified to be voted for by Christians. And you can also see that they laid emphasis on somebody who has respect for religious and ethnic diversity. So before the Christians should vote, they must make sure that the candidate is known or has exhibited evidence of diversity, evidence of religious tolerance. So you must have respect for religious and ethnic diversity. Now, there are some candidates, obviously, who have shown that they don't have regard, especially the APC presidential candidate who is running on a Muslim ticket. So that's going to be a handicap for him among Christian community. Those who will listen to what Khan is saying, because we know that there are many Christians who may still go their own way and do whatever they want to do without regard to what the Christian Association of Nigeria is saying. So that is one of the things that need to be taken note of by Christians, according to the Christian Association of Nigeria. Before they vote, they should take that into cognizance. Okay? Now, before we go further into the other characteristics that need to be met before Christians can vote for any particular presidential candidate, if you are new to my channel and you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel, hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell, share this video widely, like it, make comments about it, and when you subscribe to my channel, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you. Now, another criteria that the Christian Association of Nigeria said that Christians should consider before voting for any presidential candidate is competence. How competent is the person to be president of Nigeria? Now, these are some of the qualities that has to do with competence. The person must have quality performance. There must be evidence of quality performance in previous positions. So before Christians should vote for any presidential candidate, they should look at the person's record. Does he have history of quality performance, either as a former governor, as a former senator, as a former minister, or whatever position? It must be somebody who there is verifiable evidence of quality performance in previous positions. Then another criteria that must be met under competence is that the person must have good education, sufficient to manage a complex society. So the person must have good education, sufficient to manage a diverse or complex society. The person must have good education sufficient to manage a complex society. Nigeria is actually a complex society. The person must have the kind level of education that is sufficient enough that the person can be able to manage our diversity as a country. Number three, under this same category of competence, the person must have evidence, there must be evidence of effective management of human and natural resources. Effective management of human and natural resources. So if the person does not have, there's no evidence that the person has managed human and natural resources effectively, the person does not deserve to be voted for. So it's a very important criteria set by Khan. So Christians are to look at the array of candidates available and make sure they meet these requirements. Then there's another one they put there, another criteria that need to be considered by Christians before they vote is the issue of capacity to deliver. And under capacity, the Christian Association of Nigeria is demanding that the person must have the ability to envision transformation. That is, he must be far-sighted. He must be able to be a visionary leader, a leader who can envision transformation of Nigeria. The person must also have the ability to communicate the vision to diverse peoples. So it's not enough for the person to have a vision. He must be able to share this vision in such a way that the diversity of Nigerians will be able to understand the vision he is trying to sell to Nigerians. And then number three, under the same capacity, the person must have the ability to effectively execute the vision of transformation. So if the person has a vision to transform the country, he must be able to efficiently and effectively execute it. Okay? He must be able to execute it. Then a very important point they say they included there in capacity. The person must have good health, sound mind, and physically fit for the job. That is one of the area also that is going to be contentious because I remember when this issue of fitness, old age was made to Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is in his 70s, but some say he is in his 80s, depending on who you want to believe. And there are indications that he may not be in very sound health by what is observed physically, those who have watched him on TV, especially when he won the APC primaries, and his frequent travels abroad for medical treatment. So people like him, people like even the presidential candidates of the People's Democratic Party, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, who is also in his 70s, there are concerns about their health. So this particular portion is actually portion that I think may knock them off if the Christian community are to listen to what Khan is proposing. Then after that, the next criteria that Khan also gave that should be the guide to Christians to vote for anybody is the policies that Khan wants the next president to carry out. Now, one of these policies include that there shall be state police. So Khan is saying Christians will not vote for any candidate who does not support state police. Another point that in terms of policy that Khan is projecting is that religious neutrality of the Nigerian state. The Nigerian state must be neutral and must be seen to be neutral. So whoever is going to be the president must be somebody you are sure that will ensure the neutrality of the Nigerian state. No religion will be favored ahead of others. Religion will be treated equally, and it should be seen as personal affairs of individuals. So religious neutrality of the Nigerian state is one of the criteria that a candidate must meet. Is he somebody who will ensure religious neutrality? That's what Khan is saying. If you are a Christian and you want to vote, make sure that the candidate you are voting for will ensure religious neutrality. If there are indications that somebody like him or himself, by his past statements, by his past actions, that he will not be neutral in terms of religion, don't vote for him or her. Then Christian Association of Nigeria also said that under these policies, that restructuring must be carried out to decentralize governance. So any candidate who want to get the vote of Christians must show proof that he will encourage restructuring to decentralize governance. Another point that quality that the person must meet, there must be evidence that he will ensure equitable and enforcement sharing of executive positions. So the person must be somebody who will agree that executive positions will be shared equally. No ethnic group will be favored ahead of others or against others. It must ensure equitable and enforcement sharing of executive positions or offices. There must be equal ethnic and religious representation in military and security agencies. You know that under the present administration, there have been outcry that the Nigerian military and security agencies are dominated by people from a section of the country and even from a section of religion. That there is no diversity in Nigerian security architecture. So Khan is insisting, do not vote for any candidates who will not ensure that all ethnicities and religions are represented in the security architecture of Nigeria. Okay? Whether it's DSS, police, army, navy, NIA, all the security agencies, there must be equal representation of ethnic and religious diversities of Nigeria. So that's a very important point. Then another very important point is that they are also insisting that the person must show evidence or must be somebody who will support self-determination for all Nigerian people. So all Nigerian people will be entitled to self-determination. I think this issue of self-determination is a very important proposition. I'm sure that Khan wanted it to be among the criteria to be considered because of uh, marginalization of sections of Nigeria and feeling of alienation. So if you have a candidate who you know that will not support self-determination of Nigerian people, then do not vote for that candidate. Another important point is that they say that do not vote for any presidential candidate who supports Ruga, because Khan said they are say no to Ruga and yes to ranching. So any candidate that supports ranching, that supports Ruga, Christian Association of Nigeria say Christians should not vote for such a candidate. What Christian Association of Nigeria support is ranching. So you have to look at the Christians have to look at the candidate's position on these issues before they cast their votes. Then the person must be a candidate they should vote for is somebody who will ensure education and free health care to all Nigerians. So the person should be able to give Nigerians free education and free health care, including for almajiris. Okay? Another important point they say criteria that must be met is that no open grazing. Any presidential candidate who supports open grazing should be rejected. So Christians should not vote for any presidential candidate who supports open grazing. So it's now left for Christians to go to the records of those who have presented their manifestos or have told Nigerians what they want to do. Those who have indicated indication to be president, who have emerged in their parties, to go and check their records and tick it off based on these points. That is basically what Christian Association of Nigeria is saying. This is your checkpoint, checkout point, your checkpoints. Okay, you tick out so you can now bring out the various candidates. Peterobi, presidential candidate of Labour Party. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, presidential candidate of All Progressive Congress. Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party. And Alhaji Kwankwaso, Rabiu Kwankwaso, presidential candidate of New Nigerian People's Party. So the Christians are to go through their past records and tick where they are qualified and where they are not qualified. And obviously, the most qualified among them, based on these criteria that have been itemized by Khan, would now inform the judgments of Christians in casting their votes. Now, another important thing they mention is that after saying that they don't want anything like open grace, they say that the person must support modern animal husbandry. Modern animal husbandry is encouraged. Then there's another important point they made under these policies. It must be a candidate. The candidate that Christians will vote for must be somebody who supports resource control. Here they say that what they put it is like local control of local economy. They say the person must support local control of local economy. It means that local economy should be able to control their water, control their forest, control their land, okay, without federal government's intervention. So, in summary, uh, these are the points that the strategy, the committee of the CAN, which they call political and strategy committee, they have come up with a criteria what Christians should consider, and they broke it down into four subsections or four headings actually. Then from that four sections, you now have subsections. Okay, so it is the first section is character, the character of the next president, the character that a president must meet or a presidential candidate must meet before Christians should vote for such a person. Then they look at the competence of the person. Christians should look at the person's competence. Then they should look at the person's capacity, and then look at the policies. So any presidential candidate whose characteristics does not fit into what Kant said, wanted, should be rejected as a prayer. Should be rejected by Christians. They should not vote for such a person. Okay? They have made out the points which I have itemized. Then they talk about capacity. The person must have the capacity, must have the fitness, the strength, the energy to be able to do the work of president. You know, he must have sound health and sound mind. Because actually, I agree with Khan, because presidency of Nigeria is a very rigorous work. It is not for somebody who is still nursing his health or her health. Then the person must have the capacity to deliver, and the person must have policies that are in line with policies of Christian Association of Nigeria, which have been itemized in this pamphlet, if you like, by Political and Strategy Committee of the Christian Association of Nigeria. I believe that if your pastor, your reverend have not yet enlightened you on this, in the coming days, you are likely to be enlightened on it if you are a Christian. I'm sure of that. And now, what are the why does this matter? This mattered because, one, Christians have for long been taken for granted. Because if not for that, I don't think that somebody like Aswadi Bola Tinubu will ever attempt to do Muslim tickets. Because as far as this Nigeria is concerned, nobody dare try to do Christian presidential tickets. And who is a top contender? The Muslims in the north will not accept it. They will not. Not at all. So I think, and also I like what the Christian Association of Nigeria did by not mentioning any particular name that Christians should vote for. But this criteria they gave, I think, should be enough guide for Christians. All they need to do is tick it. Just pick any of the presidential candidates and tick the one that will meet all these criteria that have been set by CAN, and which of the candidates score the highest in terms of meeting the requirements of CAN should be able to guide any Christian who want to vote for that person. Okay? And I have taken a look at it, studied it very well. The only candidate that will fit in effectively in what CAN wants is actually the presidential candidate of Labour Party, Mr. Peterobi. Virtually in all the points, I believe that Mr. Peterobi's thinking will be in sync with what CAN wants, and he's likely to be the candidate that most Christians will vote for based on this outline of things or qualities that must be met before any presidential candidate should be voted for by Christians. That is my reading of this new development, and it's a good thing. You know, only recently Bishop Abioye of Winners Chapel, he was one of his sermons. He was talking about that Christians should not vote for people that will kill them. They should vote for people that will protect their religion, that will protect the faith. So when I looked at these things that these criteria that have been put by CAN to guide Christians in making their choice of a presidential candidate to vote for, I also could see that CAN is also in line with somebody who will protect the faith, because when CAN is talking about the person, there must be evidence that the person will support religious diversity. Okay? That means the person must be somebody who can protect the religion of all Nigerians, be it Muslim, be it Christian. Okay? The person will not show preference for any religion as long as the person is the president of Nigeria. So before you vote, you look for such a person who will be fair to all the religious diversities in Nigeria without any exemption. Somebody who will ensure that in the security services, positions are distributed equitably among the ethnic and religious diversities in the country. And then the person must never be known to belong to Boko Haram or any extremist group. The person must not be somebody who have been involved in drugs in any shape or form. So it's quite a number for Christians to deal with before making their choice, but it is worth it. We still have 8 months or more or so to go before the next general election. So there's enough time for Christians to individually check the list and tick the candidate that met most of the requirements to be elected. And I have no doubt about it that Mr. Peterobi actually will meet the requirement of most Christians in Nigeria in terms of the Christian Association of Nigeria guideline on choosing the next president of Nigeria. Thank you for watching this video. And if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell, like this video, share it widely so that more Nigerians could be able to watch it and know what is happening and prepare better ahead of 2023 presidential and general election. And when you subscribe to my channel, you'll be among the first to know anytime I have a new video. God bless you.